you were to think back to your very first career job, so not that kind of 16, 17, physical labor, maybe mowing lawns or something job, your first real job. And for those of you in the family business, you were in the store very early. Think back to that first job, and I want you to think about the answer to the question, what's one unwritten rule of the hierarchy that you learned early on? What's one unwritten rule of the hierarchy that you learned early on? So here's what's been happening for the past even year and a half. In fact, the event that Bob attended, I think we did it there as well. I've been collecting these stories that have come out of leadership groups. What's one unwritten rule? And they've been fascinating. I mean, they're going to fill a book. And we don't have time to do a breakout at your tables today, but I'll just share a couple. So these unwritten rules have fallen under a couple of categories. The first category of unwritten rules are under what I'll call the recipe for success. The recipe for success for this world. And most of the stories I hear, they go a little something like this. To get ahead, to be successful in this world, you have to know that you start on the bottom, right? You keep your head down, you keep your mouth shut, you work your tail off, and eventually, if you're really lucky, you will ascend up that world. Doesn't matter how small you are. Again, you can go from shop floor clerk to general manager to owner, right? You start at the bottom, you work your tail off, and you will slowly ascend. There's no shortcuts. You don't come in on the top, and you don't skip steps. Recipe for success. It's also a world of limited supply, scarcity, right? Dog eat dog, limited slots, limited resources, hyper competitive. In fact, I had a baby boomer say to me recently, again, as a point of reference, baby boomers born between 1946 and 1964, Generation Xers born from 1965 to 1979. I had a baby boomer say to me recently, he's like, I learned 2 rules early on about how to get ahead in that world. The first rule is, I'm very excited now. I hadn't heard this one before. I get my pen and paper out. First rule of being successful in this world is don't tell anyone what you know. I was taken a little bit aback by that one. I had not heard that rule before. So my brain's twirling. I'm like, don't tell anyone what you know. So why would that be a rule for getting ahead? What does that mean? Don't tell anyone what you know. Why would you do that? Why would you not do that? Information is power. So if I give someone else my information, what happens? Yeah, I'm expendable, right? Which is so interesting. It's so counterintuitive to the messages we hear today where power comes from sharing information. We're all about sharing. He's saying, protect it. Make sure this secures my security. Don't tell anyone what you know. So he said 2 rules. So obviously I'm very curious. What's rule number 2 going to be? I walk right into it. What do you think he says rule number 2 is? I can't tell you. Straight face. I thought I can't tell you.